Friends, Worm here today, and we have some juicy stuff here for you in regards to Destiny 2 leaks. Now, before we get started, I do want to say I'm not going to show anything in this video because I don't want it to potentially get taken down or something like that. However, if you go to Destiny 2, D2 leaks at Twitter at D2 leaks, I will post a link to their Twitter in the description below. You can see these for yourself. And they, of course, they do stuff like this all the time. They leak stuff all the time, but I wanted to specifically talk about this one because it sounds like Bungie has finally listened to the player base. Now, before we get further into this, I want to point out that this is all subject to change. These are leaks. The images that we see here are very blurry. You can read what they say, but they are still very blurry, stuff like that. So this is subject to change, but these are supposedly coming with Season of the Deep, which is next season. So I want to talk about the images that we have here, as well as some kind of bonus stuff, I guess. But the primary thing I want to focus on when I say that Bungie has seemingly listened to the player base is they are reworking the UI for buffs and modifiers and stuff like that. So I'm looking at this image here, and like I said, I'm not going to show it because of the fact that, you know, don't know what's potentially gonna get, what could get me in trouble. But it looks to me like we're going to have some new stuff around the screen here. So at the top of the screen, kind of like where the health bar is, it says high priority modifiers. This is, you know, I don't know what they consider high priority modifiers, but I assume that this is going to include things like, you know, weapon buffs. You know, I think that they're probably going to level it similar to how they did the buffs and buffs and debuff system, where, you know, whatever the highest buffs are, you know, for example, Blessing of Light versus Weapons of Light. Blessing of Light is going to show up probably up there, something like that. But that's in the top right underneath the health bar. Over here on the bottom right side of the screen, this is normally, if I'm not mistaken, where like your chat would appear. It looks like it's going to be weapon and armor modifiers. Okay, so, you know, high priority modifiers, maybe something like, you know, like I said, like Blessing of Light, or I'm sorry, not Blessing of Light, Blessing of the Sky, Weapons of Light, something like that. But the weapon and armor modifiers will show you maybe where, like, you know, your strand weapon boosters are. You know, if you have, you know, strand weapon booster on your boots, maybe it's going to show those down there. In that bottom right section of the screen, kind of where the chat would be now normally. Of course, if we go to the left side, and this is almost left middle, slightly lower than left middle of the screen, kind of where buffs and debuffs are currently, it's going to be activity and fire team modifiers. Now I'm looking here, it looks like they're in the King's Fall raid, in the, like, the screenshot, so to speak, and it looks like Aura of Unraveling is going to appear over there. Basically any buff or debuff that's specific to, you know, various activities, such as, you know, the new strike. I forget the name of it, but the new strike, you know, if you are in one of those blights, it'll be shadow touched is over there. Also Well of Radiance, looks like it's going to be over there because it's there right there, because that's a, you know, something that your fire team puts down. Although I can't really tell what class this person's using. It looks like probably Hunter, but anyways, yeah, that's going to be kind of where the buffs and stuff are now. But there's something interesting down here in the bottom left, kind of like right above where your super bar is. And it says subclass modifiers. And these, I would assume, are things like amplified, like volatile rounds, you know, stuff like that, stuff that actually modify your subclass. Looks like they're going to appear right above the super bar, which I think is a really neat place to move those, because they're really, you know, they're out of the way, but it's still right down there where all your other subclasses are, where your grenade, your melee, your class ability, and your super is, as well as your ammo and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. There is also some other boxes here. It looks like right between the activity modifiers, or activity and fire team modifiers, and the subclass modifiers, there's another box. It's a gray box, kind of highlighting where those would be, but it says incidents, I think is what it says. It's very difficult to make out because it's a very blurry photo. but it looks like it says incidents. I'm gonna assume that's probably things like, you know, somebody creates an orb of power, somebody detonates you know, a blight or something like that, like something that your fire team does that's not like considered a chat. Now the one thing that I don't see anywhere on screen here is where the chat is going to go, because weapons and armor modifiers looks like it's right where the chat is to me. So yeah, there's that. Other things on screen, we also of course see right next to the reticle the scoring. This is kind of where it's always been, is right there directly to the left of your reticle screen. But yeah, it's nice to see that Bungie is separating all these, so we'll finally be able to have more than 4 buffs or debuffs on our screen screen at a time. Like this is Bungie listening to the player base, and this is good. Okay, and I think of course it'll take time for us to get used to if this is what actually happens. But it's good that Bungie is listening to players. You know, they're listening to the fact that we've been complaining for a long time now that we don't have enough buffs and debuffs over there. So we don't really know kind of what all we have going on. You know, we don't know if we have restoration, as well as, you know, volatile rounds, blah, 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 yada, yada, stuff like that. So Bungie, it seems like, is listening, which is fantastic here. Now we also get some insight into the new dungeon. And I don't really know how far I could talk about this without potentially getting flagged on YouTube or getting in trouble with Bungie, or Bungie taking the video down or something like that. But it does look like we've got some pretty cool stuff here. I'll just tell you the archetypes: stasis wave frame breach grenade launcher, a solar rapid fire glaive, a solar aggressive machine gun, and a stasis aggressive rocket launcher. And then a new origin trait, which also looks really interesting. The origin trait, I'll go ahead and read what it says. Restoration ritual, reviving allies or killing enemies with finishers, reloads this weapon and readies an emergency reload for the next time the weapon runs out of ammo. So that sounds like it'd be actually pretty cool. It sounds like, you know, when you revive somebody or you get a finisher, it's going to reload your guns, and it's going to give you a free reload when you run out of ammo. So, you know, for example, the rocket launcher, that's going to be pretty sweet. You know, your teammate dies, you revive them, you shoot a rocket, you have another rocket immediately ready to go. But yeah, that's kind of it for the leaks that I want to cover today. Of course, there is older stuff in here that we could, you know, talk about and stuff like that. But I think that's kind of the main thing. The main thing I want to focus on is the UI changes. The UI changes is wonderful. I really, really do hope that this is real. This is not just like a prototype design or something like that. Like, I do hope that we'll be able to see a substantial amount more weapon and activity and fire team and priority modifiers and stuff like that. But yeah, let me know, of course, what you guys think. Have you seen these leaks on D2 Leaks? If you haven't, I would strongly recommend going and checking them out because they look pretty cool. But what do you think about them? Do you think that's, you know, it's a good thing that Bungie's moving things around, or do you think that it's going to be difficult for players to adapt to all the different stuff going on screen? Because I know that, you know, it looks like there's a lot more that's going to be happening on our screen now. And I know that for some players that might be difficult to overcome, you know, or get used to. But yeah, let me know what you think about that. Also, we talked a tiny bit about the weapons from the new dungeon. We can talk about those in the comments as well. But yeah, go check out D2 Leaks. And yeah, I think that's it. I just want to look through here one more time, make sure there's nothing else we're gonna miss or something like that. No, it all looks good. Oh, and mind you, D2 Leaks has a really good track record of you know, leaking things that are said to be true. So yeah, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Of course, if you want to see more Destiny stuff like this, drop a subscription. That really helps. We love to see more people following every single day. And of course, if you like the video, please like it. And that's basically it for me. I will catch y'all in the next one, guys. And bye for now.